Well, last episode I did a movie directed by an effects guru. What the hell, let's do another one. Cellar Dweller is a 1988 horror movie directed by John Carl Buechler, who did creature effects for stuff like Ghoulies, From Beyond, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and Hatchet. Buechler also directed a decent amount of movies too, with his most famous ones being Troll and Friday the 13th Part 7. This one isn't exactly among his more well-known films, but I'd say it has a bigger following than something like Curse of the 49er. Produced by B-movie kingpin Charles Band for his company Empire Pictures, it also featured a script from Child's Play creator Don Mancini. In fact, to this day, it's the only non-Chucky related movie he's ever written. Now, unlike Child's Play, this one didn't become a franchise, but it did make the cover of Fangoria back in the day, which puts it in the same category as Spasms. Here's hoping this movie actually got finished. Anyway, we begin 30 years ago, so 1994? Oh wait, it can't be. The comic book this guy's drawing isn't Spawn or X-Men related. And hey, Jeffrey Combs? I wasn't expecting this to have Herbert West aspiring animator. Jeff plays a 1950s comic book artist called Colin Childress, who makes an EC-styled horror comic called Cellar Dweller. And if you're wondering where he gets his inspiration from, it's an ancient satanic book he has for some reason. Yeah, that's right, he's got a copy of the Necronomicon. Now fuck you, I like that one.
Woe unto you that gives the beast form.
Okay, I can't prove this, but I have a feeling reading from ancient magical tomes is also how Alan Moore comes up with his stories. Unbeknownst to him, though, Buechler's practicing for when he directs a Jason movie later. And this movie doesn't wait long to show us its monster, cause there it is. And honestly, it's a pretty good monster. It kinda looks like a Sasquatch gremlin, and apparently it sprang to life from his comic book drawing. Well, just this guy's luck. He found out he can bring comic book characters to life, and it wasn't when he was drawing Vampirella. Because the monster came from a comic book, he discovers he can get rid of it by burning the pages. And you can really tell John Carl Buechler made this thing, because when it burns, it looks like a ghoulie. Unfortunately for Colin, he forgot he repainted his basement with kerosene. Did you like that opening with Jeffrey Combs? Good, because after this, we don't see him again. We now cut to 30 years later when Colin's house has been turned into an art academy being attended by another aspiring comic artist, Whitney Taylor. And if you're wondering why she chose this art academy...
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I frighten you?
Because it comes with Lily Munster fake-out scares.
Hi, I'm Whitney Taylor. We met 2 years ago at the Rhode Island School of Design.
Oh, I remember. You were the heckler in the first row.
Hey, don't hate on hecklers. Some people make a career out of doing that. The real reason Whitney's here is because she was a huge fan of Childress's work.
Mrs. Briggs, I want to create a whole new comic book in the tradition of Cellar Dweller.
Look, forget the comic, just pitch a series to HBO. I mean, it's the late 80s, it's the right time for it. And in case anyone forgot, this is a horror movie.
See, we have no telephones, no television, no outside ties to the world.
We will, however, be recording you 24/7 in case we need to blackmail you. That's how we do things here at the Diddy Art Academy. She also tells Whitney the basement is off limits. Not sure why. Looks like they cleaned it up pretty good after the fire. And it even comes with some complimentary boobs and zombies. Now, if you're wondering what the purpose of that dream sequence was, we're almost at the 20-minute mark and needed some nudity and monsters. Anyway, time to meet some of the other students. There's a guy with a mullet who immediately takes a liking to Whitney, and if I didn't already know there's a monster, I'd swear that Billy Ray Joker Smile here was gonna be the killer. But even that's not as terrifying as his artwork.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know if it'll ever be in an art gallery, but I can see your parents putting it on the fridge someday. And you're not one to judge others, pal.
Aren't you a little old for comics, Whitney?
I don't know, aren't you a little old to still be finger painting? Well, let's see. Scarf, mullet. This guy's gonna be annoying, isn't he?
But alas, my lady, I am just a mere child.
Yeah, I can tell by your artwork.
Powerful. and deceptively simple.
No, there's nothing deceptive about it. Everyone at this place seems weird. There's this one guy who looks like he stepped out of a 1940s detective comic book, whose only talent seems to be scaring the shit out of people.
I want to thank you all very much. I can continue with my scene now.
That's Nora Michalski, ex-Private Eye, in tomorrow's Raymond Chandler.
Yeah, well, if you girls aren't careful, he might up going all William S. Burroughs on your ass. There's also an old rival of Whitney's named Amanda who just videotapes everything. Well, maybe she's stocking up on cat videos for when the internet finally gets popular.
What the hell is she doing here?
The board of directors fell in love with her.
Probably because she's the only one here who seems to have any talent. And turns out I was wrong when I said Jeffrey Combs never shows up again. See? There he is on that Reanimator poster. Okay, the movie's called Cellar Dweller, so let's get back down to that basement. When they said it was off limits, what they meant is that it's unlocked and anyone can go down there whenever they feel like it.
Oh, you little shit!
Unfortunately, it's mostly full of fake-out scares.
This is the place where Colin Childress lived and worked. 30 years ago, he butchered a woman with an axe and then set himself on fire.
And this guy's your idol?
I don't know, a chick being into true crime seems pretty accurate to me. Whitney, however, doesn't think Colin was guilty.
Then what happened, Sherlock?
Well, they were murdered.
Okay, I know the woman at the beginning was technically killed by the monster, but considering he's the one who brought it to life using the dark arts, isn't he still kinda responsible? They find the ancient book, and it turns out conjuring demons wasn't the only creepy shit he was doing with it.
Curses of the ancient dead. Pages are stuck together.
Ew! Let's see, what else can I summon with this thing? What the hell is a ghoulie? Because the fire apparently didn't destroy any of Colin's stuff, Whitney has to work down in the cellar. Well, not the worst idea. I think that's where Todd McFarlane made those intros for the HBO Spawn cartoon. And hey, you know what this movie could really use? That's right, a tidying up montage.
I've never done a restoration before. What do you think?
It's great.
Yeah, it's way better than your other crappy artwork. Now that she has access to Childress's stuff, Whitney decides to continue his work. Yeah, screw his estate, Cellar Dweller belongs to her now. Alright, as much as I could criticize her for doing that, the sad truth is, that kind of thing happened to a lot of comic book creators back in the day. Because Whitney read from the book and drew a picture of it, that means we finally get to see the monster again. Alright, now she just needs to find an incantation that can get Jeffrey Combs back for another day of filming. Okay, never mind, it's gone again. Well, I guess we'll have to wait for it to start killing people. That is, if Whitney doesn't kill Amanda for snooping at her artwork.
I don't know what you're up to, Amanda, but if I ever catch you down here again, I will hang you up by your eyelids and wrench out your fingernails one by one. You got it?
You know, I'm starting to see why she's so into a comic book creator that was accused of murdering somebody. Come on, we're over halfway through. I don't need to see her storyboard the movie. Get to the monster again. By the way, Amanda films Whitney drawing and then splices in a shot of her copying some of Childress's art to try and frame her for plagiarism. Although considering she's using the monster he started drawing, isn't she sorta already doing that? Oh right, I forgot she has to draw the monster doing something for it to appear. And wait till you see how she gets her revenge on Amanda. Yeah, he's gonna have the monster take care of her Looney Tunes style. And if you still don't believe me... Okay, is the monster gonna kill her by dropping an anvil on her head? Alright, that's a little more gruesome, although most of this death scene happens in the comic book panels. The rest of it is a bunch of close-up shots of the monster munching on limbs, where it honestly looks pretty adorable. Who's next? Fingers crossed it's Mullet Guy.
Wake up. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You know, you really disappoint me. I've always heard grown women sleep in the nude.
Okay, seriously, please tell me he's next. Nah, we're gonna have to wait a bit for that. In the meantime, the only one who seems to care that Amanda's mysteriously gone missing is Detective Guy.
I got a funny feeling we're not gonna be graced by Amanda's presence much longer. The tension between the two girls was thick enough to cut with a knife. Is Whitney Taylor capable of murder?
Okay, what is this guy's deal? Did a character from a Mickey Spillane novel also come to life? Anyway, let's see what some of the other students have been working on.
Dad. Dad.
Oh look, she's debuting her new performance piece just called The 80s. And hey, careful with those dolls, will ya? Charles Band needs those to make like 50 other movies.
It was interesting.
It was very moving, Lisa.
Yeah, I always wanted to see Cyndi Lauper as Ziggy Stardust. Meanwhile, Private Dickhead goes to the basement and takes some of Whitney's comic pages and also finds the tape that Amanda made, coming to the conclusion that Whitney murdered her, which, considering she's the one who drew the art of the monster eating her, isn't that far off. Unfortunately for him, the monster doesn't like people watching his home movies, but this does lead to the best kill in the movie. So, wait, did Whitney also draw this? I thought that's what had to happen for the monster to come to life. How exactly does this thing work?
Amanda stole my work from the cellar, but...
Yeah, which you stole from a dead guy. Jeez, this whole situation has got Whitney so upset she can barely concentrate on toying with the forces of evil.
Come on, let's bag the work and get out of here. Go for a walk or something. I'll tell you my life story.
Yeah, I already know your life story, pal. You directed Good Burger and then became the head of Nickelodeon. By the way, that's not a joke. Hey, you know something else this movie could really use? I was gonna say another tidying up montage, but... sure, a shower scene's much better. Meanwhile, Whitney figures out she inadvertently brought the monster back to life, and as far as it killing people goes, I guess the comic pages can just draw themselves now? Well, on the plus side, a comic book that draws itself means Whitney should have no excuse for missing deadlines. Joe Madureira could really use one of these.
Alright, bitch. Nobody walks around this house naked but me.
You know, besides the decapitation, the kill scenes here are a little disappointing. The comic panels are cool, but in the real world, we mostly just see the same shots of the monster eating people that could be used interchangeably with any character. I will say though, I do still dig Buechler's monster effects. This is like if Harry and the Hendersons was made by Anton LaVey.
I hate to tell you this, but if we don't get out of here, it's over for us.
Well, hopefully it's over for you. I still don't know exactly what this monster's powers are. Just look at what it does to Mullet Guy. Well, it could be worse. At least he didn't get sucked into Cool World. There's only one thing for Whitney to do now. Go to Lily Munster and see if she can get her tuition back. Something tells me she's not gonna be much help, though.
I've been going through a lot of changes lately.
Okay, so... wait, does this mean that Lily Munster was the monster the whole time? Or it possessed her? I don't know. Alright, the explanation for the inconsistent plot probably has to do with the movie's rush production schedule. Like a lot of his movies, Charles Band came up with the title and poster first, and told Buechler and Mancini to come up with a story around those things. Then when that was done, they were only given 10 days to film everything, with Jeffrey Combs shooting his part in just 1 day. So with that in mind... yeah, the plot's gonna seem a little thrown together. And what the hell are you doing? Don't just throw random crap at it. Find an eraser and get rid of this thing before it motorboats you to death. Okay, I joke, but wait until you see how she actually gets rid of it. Whiteout. The monster's... one weakness? I guess? And so, with the monster defeated, Whitney gave up on horror comics and went on to create NFL Super Pro. And come on, Whitney, don't draw Mullet Boy surviving. We just got rid of him.
You call that a kiss? I'm not talking about some quick peck on the cheek here.
God damn it. In fact, she brings everybody back just by drawing them. This 80s horror movie has an unexpectedly happy ending. Okay, that's not quite how it ends. Realizing the fire is what got rid of the monster the first time, she puts all the artwork in the trash and burns it. And I mean all of the artwork. I knew you wouldn't let me down, movie. Also, I guess burning the drawing of the monster didn't work this time? For some reason? Well, despite the sequel hook ending, this never got any. which is kind of weird considering Charles Band has made 15 Puppet Master movies and counting. You're telling me they couldn't reuse that monster suit one more time? Cellar Dweller is one of those movies that gets by almost entirely on the strength of its monster, and considering the limited production schedule and budget, Buechler did a pretty damn good job here. Who doesn't love a pissed-off Satan Chewbacca? As far as the rest of the movie goes, it's pretty slight. This clocks in at just 77 minutes long, and if you don't include the lengthy opening and closing credits, it's barely over an hour. This almost seems like it should have been an episode of Tales from the Crypt rather than a feature-length movie. After all, that would have fit with the EC Comics vibe. Also, besides the decapitation, most of the kills here aren't that great. I would love to see a Night of the Demon-style slasher movie, just with this thing instead of Bigfoot. You can definitely tell this was made quickly, but the monster delivers. And with a movie called Cellar Dweller, that's really all you can ask for. And considering how much Charles Band likes crossovers, I wonder how long until we get a Cellar Dweller vs. Meridian movie. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.
Death is sad.